Okay, hello. Hello. My name is Language Barrow. I do a podcast that is on most of the platforms entitled Man Overboard 50 Ain't Nothing But a Number, Yo, which focuses on men's socialization and health, but I also do some videos around travel because I like to travel. So, as I mentioned in the previous video to this, I'm currently in Colombia. I was in Medellin for 5 days, or Medellin, depends on um, what region they pronounce it differently. And then I decided to come to Bogota for a few days. Now, the reason I decided to come to Bogota and leave Medellin is because when I was doing online dating via Colombian Cupid, most of the women that I connected with that I really liked were in Bogota. I tend to like educated professional women. And so they were mostly in Bogota. So I figured, let me go to Bogota, even though I didn't really keep any connections. I figured, let me go to Bogota. They seem to have the type of women that I like. Let me go there and see if I could connect there. There's also some things that I wanted to see in Bogota. Like I wanted to see La Monserrate. I wanted to see La Candelaria, and I wanted to see the Museo de Oro, which is the Museum of Gold. So there were some things I wanted to see, so it made sense for me to actually make the trip here. Now, one of the things I discovered, and I probably should have knew, is the city is so spread out. You just seem to spend so much time in transition, and their public transportation system is something that just would take you a while to get used to, or take you some time to get adjusted to, because they have the TransMilenio, which is equivalent. It's not equivalent, but they don't have a metro system, but they have dedicated bus lanes. So that's what the TransMilenio is: dedicated bus lanes that help to kind of move them through traffic quicker. And then they have regular buses, which are like regular buses. I mean, they are stuck in the traffic just like regular buses or cars are. And then they have Uber, they have taxis, I think you can do the motorcycle thing where you can ride on the back of somebody's motorcycle. I haven't done that. I'm not going to do that. I think that's a little too risky for me. So I was initially supposed to stay in Bogota for 5 days, and I'm glad I changed it to 3 days because I don't want to say I don't like the city, but I don't find it as interesting as I find Medellin. Now, the problem with Medellin is there's just not a lot of stuff to do. I mean, it's warm, it's nice, the women are beautiful, but there's just not a lot to do in Medellin. Now, there's more to do in Bogota, but the city is colder, the people are also a little colder, it's much dirtier, much more congested, things are just so spread out, right? So that's why I'm glad that I cut my days short. Now, would I come back again? If I met somebody, I'm just being brutally honest. If I met someone that lived in the city of Bogota, then I might travel back up here. But short than that, I don't think I would come back to Bogota. I just really don't find it. I don't find it all that interesting. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about where I am. So when I booked to stay here, I had an idea it was spread out. So what I wanted to do was find an area that is very centralized with bars and restaurants and nightlife, and that's why I chose the Chapinero area, which is close to the Zona T or I think it's Zona T or Zona Rosa area, which is a very kind of trendy area. Some people say it's a tourist area. It's not really a tourist area. It's just an area where people have money. So generally, you'll find much more educated or socio-economically advantaged Colombians kind of in that area. And so that's kind of where I'm staying. So I guess that's why they call it tourist areas, because when the tourists come, that's where they stay. But it's not a tourist area. Now, just to give you some information on geography, the more north you go, the kind of nicer it gets and the more well off it gets, and then it actually transitions into more of a suburban living. Now, when you start going south, it gets a little more urban. Yeah, I guess that's what we would say. It's more urban. So your first area you hit the Sante Fe area. So if you Google Sante Fe on YouTube, you just find a bunch of men who went around following prostitutes and filming them, because that's what Sante Fe is known for. I've been told it's a high density area for the Venezuelan, especially the Venezuelan women, because those are, I don't want to say they're all the ones that are driving the prostitution, but it appears from my understanding that a lot of it is driving the prostitution. And so that's a very rundown area, very very dangerous area. I guess in the daytime, if you wanted to walk, you could walk around as long as you didn't look like you a tourist, staring up at the sky and stuff, because then someone probably would approach you, and like most crimes, they're crimes of opportunity. Now below that is the La Candelaria, and La Candelaria is the area where a lot of the museums are, like the Museo de Oro, Museo de Colombia is also there, and then when you see the pictures of people walking around La Candelaria, it's like an old town, kind of old town feel with all these colors, and it's typical of more of an old kind of Pueblo village look. It's not very big, but that's kind of area is what it is. Now the other thing about that is that's close to El Centro. Now one of the things about El Centro, whether you're in Medellin or you're in Bogota, is generally that's where a lot of the hustling is going on. So, and I don't mean prostitute, I mean just like people working and selling all kinds of stuff. Some of it legal, some of it illegal. I mean, it's just all kinds of stuff going on. Usually they're very dirty and they're very congested, and it is that way here too. To me, it looked like it appeared to me that Medellin's El Centro was much more bigger, but I could be wrong. I didn't walk around the area in El Centro in Bogota, because kind of once you've seen one of those areas, where people are selling stuff on the street and hustling, and it looks the same. And so do you really want to travel to another country to go see a country's underbelly, or where the poor people are and how people are struggling? Yeah, I can do that in America. I live in the cut, so I don't have to travel on a plane to see how poor people live. But so that's what that is. Now, neither one of those areas are advisable to be walking around at night, right? Because a lot of the commercial establishments shut down, and then the people that are there, I'm gonna say, look at some nefarious purposes, right? They're looking to find some opportunity other than working, right? So you might be that opportunity. So you don't see a lot of people walking around in those areas that are not from those specific areas. Lastly, I'm going to touch on what? Women? Yeah, touch on the women. Because, I don't know. I'm just, be straight out. If you're a single guy and you come to Colombia, women are somewhere in the mix, right? They are. Because there are other more beautiful geographical countries to see. Medellin, it's not very, it's tropical, so there's some beauty there, but there are more beautiful places in Latin America if you really want to go see something beautiful. You go all kinds of other places. Bogota is cold. You're not coming to Bogota for that. And then even places like Cartagena, which is on the beach, but the beach isn't even that nice. And so, now maybe you're talking about going up to Santa Marta or Barranquilla. You may get some more tropical and beautiful beaches, but even there are other places that if you're going somewhere geographically beautiful, Colombia is probably not the place. Mexico has some gorgeous places. Mexico is a big country, and the food is fantastic. The places are gorgeous, but I have more of an affinity for Colombia. I like the way Colombian women look. So that's why I'm here. So that's going to be the last one I'm going to touch on in this piece, which is the women. So I've heard people say that the paisas, which is the women from that Antioquia region, the capital of that region is Medellin, are the most beautiful women in Colombia, versus Bogota, which, the women cover up more. So I think the women are more beautiful in Medellin. Is that bias? I don't know. Maybe it is bias. I don't know. Taste is bias. But I certainly find them more beautiful. Now, some of that could be the fact that it's a warmer climate, so the people are warmer, they dress warmer. Bogota is more of an urban, more of a kind of temperatures fluctuating in that anywhere from 55 up to 80 range. So you get any of that. Now, when you're in Medellin, that temperature band is probably 70 to like 90. Right, so people dress differently, attitudes are different. You get rain, but as soon as the rain's over, the sun comes out and there's beautiful flowers. So it's a different mentality, but I personally think the women are more beautiful in Medellin. I would agree with that. I haven't been to Cartagena, and I haven't been to Barranquilla or Santa Marta, and then some of the other kind of other areas that are not on the coastline, like I can't think of the one that starts with a P. But so that's kind of my experience in Bogota. Again, would I come back to Bogota if I was visiting Colombia? Probably only if I was dating someone in Bogota. If I wasn't dating someone in Bogota, I don't think I would come, because I've been to better urban areas. You know, I've been to Paris and London, so I've been to areas that are big, cities that are big, but they just have a lot more to offer. So I was going to go to a big city that my expectation is that it's a world-class city, not just a big city. But that's just my opinion, right? You all have your opinions like buttholes. We all got them, and everybody thinks theirs doesn't stink. So with that, I'm signing off, and we'll see you in the next video.